piece of rebar out. And she got the tin off. All the tin is off this side of the roof.
And I got all the stuff out of here that was left that hadn't been taken out. This, to show you this beauty net my son the genius made me, because one night I came out here and there was a little raccoon and I could have grabbed him if I had a good strong net, so Meyer made me this. You can see welded it all up.
Right.
And then he hand wove this net.
Wow.
So that needs to go back in the shop now. But I kept it out here just in case it happened again.
These are the old...
And of course my mother, the smart ass, I come in and she's like, don't you have any gloves? It's like, oh, that's a good idea. I should have probably been wearing gloves. Yeah, I just caught my finger on the edge of the tin and... But at any rate, I got the window out.
Yeah.
Now I got to take, what I've got to do in order to knock this over is I've got to get out as much as I can that's keeping it from falling. And of course, because I built it, that's 4,000 pieces of cross bracing and all of these boards except this one and that one. And hopefully it'll come over when I get all of these out. Okay, but I realized when I was taking this apart, okay, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you something over here in the, this is the, remember this pile is the screw it, it's going to be firewood pile. I'm going to show you something. See these? See, there's a whole stack of these boards. These are not to keep the bears from getting in your doors. These I made because, as you can see, the landscape timbers I got were not long enough to do what I wanted to do, so I had to add a piece.
Yes.
And so in order to make it strong enough,
Those are your
I
scab
put
pieces.
one piece here, one piece there, and one piece on the other side. Now this one's not going to impede it falling this way, but these,
Yeah.
you'd never get it pulled over.
Right.
So I'm having to take out all that stuff. But what I'm finding is that if it wasn't flooding, and if I wasn't tired of crawling around like Quasimodo to clean the shit out of my barn,
Right.
all I would have had to do was change some of the exterior boards and I would have been fine. The bones of this structure are still sound. So we're going to have a lot of building material. That's the plus of that.
Yes.
But yeah.
The minus is it's really hard to take
The
apart.
minus is I'm really having to work now to get these boards out. Because they're really, and you know me, 4 billion nails.
and
And
screws.
they're all glue coated and ring shank.
Yeah.
So they don't want to just come out. You have to kind of finesse them out. You have to hold your mouth just right and shit. And of course now, because I didn't wear gloves to do that, which I should have been wearing gloves to handle tin. It's kind of asinine not to. Especially old
Do as
nasty
she
arms.
says, not as she does.
That's right! So since it's kind of asinine not to, but now that I already messed myself up, now this that I wouldn't have to wear gloves for, I kind of have to now because otherwise my Band-Aid's going to get ripped out. I'm going to bleed again like a stuck pig. As you saw, I was bleeding everywhere. Thank you, doctor, for putting me on aspirin therapy. Now I just bleed. These I put up here as a fence, of course, to keep the goats out of in there. And why did I use 2x4? Because it's what I had. These were scrap 2x4. Some of them left over from the fireworks stand, but a lot of them were left over. And I realized when I was digging it apart, a lot of this one-by and stuff was part of an old playhouse that was here on the property. That when we first moved in, we used it for a goat shed. Then I made a temporary goat shed out of blocks, and so that I could use that to make this. And so a lot of these boards were from that. But all the ones that have blue on them, so the ones that don't have blue on them those were probably from the playhouse or from some job I was doing. The ones that have blue on them, those are from the fireworks stand.
Ah,
You know, if you look at the tin, on the back side of the tin, there's some
with blue.
And you can see the blue on the
Yeah.
plywood.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of these, yeah, so some of these are recycled,
Already?
recycled.
Yeah. Recycled before we use them. Recycled. Yeah.
But it's no easy project. And like I said, it would be nice, let's just go to the store and buy a load of lumber. But we really can't afford to do that. And when I think about it, when I'm not just being bitter about life, which let's face it, I have lots of reasons to be bitter. But when I'm not just being bitter about life, when I think about it, it would be terrible to waste all this wood anyway. If I just took all this wood and all this, I took the tin to the scrapyard and I took the wood and I burned it. If I took it to the scrapyard, at least it would be for something.
Mm-hmm.
But if I just burn that wood, even if I just burn it for firewood, it's kind of a waste. And the only thing so far that I'm absolutely burning for firewood is that little teeny pile there and the bucket.
Yeah.
The rest of it I still think is salvageable. But that could be because I'm a moron too. You know? Most people will be like, no, that's trash, Selena, that's trash. No, fuck you, that's not trash. Okay, so one of the things is when I built this, I actually bricked it up to meet the bottom. I had some old brick and I used concrete and I kind of bricked it up. So I'm pulling the brick up as I go and I find it because I'm going to use it to help build up. I'm going to pour a footing on it for this next one. I'm building a pole barn, but then I'm going to run boards along the bottom of my poles and pour those full of concrete.
Mm-hmm.
And so it'll just be, I'll use this stuff for fill. And you can see that. You can see how deep this is, how old this is by how far in the ground this is.
Yeah, because that was on top of the ground.
Yeah, it was on top of the ground.
Right.
And now it's 6, 8 inches under. So, yeah, all of this stuff, everything I'll wind up using, even if I use it for fill or firewood, none of this will be wasted. I really don't believe in waste. But the part of me that would like to just sit and build something's tired of fucking with this shit. But good luck with it if you're broke. That's for rich people. Rich people get to say, oh, I'm just going to go down and buy all this stuff and have my footing poured and have my house built and it'll be lovely. The problem is that most of the people that do that, they're not rich. They're not much broker than they're not much richer than I am. They don't make much more money than I do. What they do is they go hocked up to their ass.
Yeah.
And when they do, guess who owns them? The corporations do. That's who owns you. When you give in to that desire to have all that stuff that you think is going to make you look important to all your friends, pretty soon, you're not your own person. You belong to the corporation. You're a slave to the man. A slave to the man! Not that I come from the hippie generation or anything. But yeah, you become a slave to the man and you're just working all the time to pay somebody else, you know, make somebody else rich. As crappy as this is to do, I'd rather do this than go clocking at Walmart every day. Not that there's anything wrong with clocking in at Walmart. If that's your job, that's your job. And at least you found a way to make a living. But I don't want to do it if I don't have to. I'd rather pick shit with the chickens, as they say. Okay, so that's it for now, then.
That's probably it for this day if you want to sign off.
Oh, is it? Okay, so Lynn says that's it for today. She's the boss of me, don't you know?
I just want to make as many videos as I can.
Okay, so until next time, have a good day. Don't do anything stupid.
Like cut yourself?
Don't be a slave to the man. No, fuck you, cut yourself. That's what, if you work, you're going to cut yourself.
There you go.
That's life.
Okay. Over and out.